Hello everyone, welcome back, and we are completing the chapter cell cycle and cell division. We have almost completed mitosis. You people have understood mitosis clearly, I hope so. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, however. And only some little concept is left over when we consider mitosis, so that we will see today. So we will be talking today about what is the significance of mitosis. The significance of mitosis. Now, see, when we have understood what is mitosis, okay, fine. Now we should understand why mitosis plays important role. How it is important? Is it important or no? So all these things will come under this concept called significance of mitosis. So one by one we will go on understanding why it is important. The first thing is that, as you all know, we all have been developed from one single celled zygote to this height, and this development is all because of mitosis. So what you can say, the first significance is growth and development. So any animal, any plant or any organism also, if you see, even if it is single cell or multicellular, whatever it is, growth and development is because of mitosis. So if mitosis would not happen, then growth would not happen. So for growth and development, mitosis plays very important role. And along with this, you can remember one more. What is that one more significance? Correct nucleoplasmic and cytoplasmic. What you can say? Correct, no? Yeah. Distribution. See, all over the body, the cell should have same amount of nucleoplasm and same amount of cytoplasm. Now, if you consider meiosis, meiosis, where meiosis will take place? Wherever gametes are produced, meiosis will take place there. So, if you consider oogenesis, for example, I am just giving you an example. If you consider oogenesis in meiosis, oogenesis happens because of meiosis, wherein oocyte will undergo the division of meiosis and then it will form the egg. There you might have seen that in oogenesis, we will not get 4 eggs. After completion of oogenesis, we will not get 4 eggs. Instead, we will get only 1 egg. Rest all other 3 will become polar body. What you can understand there is, meiotic division is not proper. That means it is not proper. Nucleoplasmic and cytoplasmic distribution will not, it's not mandatory for there in meiosis for correct distribution. But for mitosis, nucleoplasm and cytoplasm correct division will happen in mitosis. In meiosis, that is not the case. So everywhere in our body, the cells should have same amount of nucleoplasm and cytoplasm like rest all other cells also. And that can be done by mitosis only, not by meiosis. Meiosis may or may not. Nucleoplasm and cytoplasmic distribution may happen, may not also. So for mitosis, only in mitosis you will find this proper nucleoplasmic and cytoplasmic distribution. So first one is growth and development. Second one is nucleoplasmic and cytoplasmic distribution. What might be the third one? What do you think? Very importantly, it helps in cell repair. Yes. Now, you know that there are some cells in our body which are, in cell cycle also we have discussed about this. There are some cells which differentiate from the mitotic cells, zygote cells, and they take up some other function and they are temporarily differentiated, which can again come back to cell cycle and divide and form some other cells. Why that is important? Now, for example, let us consider the skin cells. Now, if something happened to our epithelial tissue, the outer layer of the skin cell, if some damage happens to that cell, then again new cells are produced. If anything happens to that cell, new cells are produced. Why? Because of mitosis. So that is how we call it as cell repair. Now, if something happened and blood oozes out, you know very well. Now, red blood cells for some amount of RBCs will be removed out when we get hurt, when something happens to our body, when we start bleeding. So much of red blood cells, simply they are just waste. That time, those number of RBCs which have been lost it is again generated or produced because of mitosis. So one or the other way, it is helping in what? Repair of the cells. Also you can say replacement. It is both. It also helps in repairing. It also helps in replacing. Understood? The example is blood cells. Example is skin cells. So it helps in cell repair and replacement. What is next? What do you think? See, the next one is asexual reproduction. Have you heard about this? Reproduction is of two types. Right? Among that, asexual reproduction is also one type. What happens in asexual reproduction? Usually in this reproduction, you will not find fusion of gametes. Asexual means without fusion of gametes, the reproduction happens in some lower organisms. Let us consider amoeba. If you take amoeba as an example, amoeba will just divide. Its body divides into two. It can be binary, it can be multiple fission. We call it as fission. Fission is nothing but mitosis only, wherein the organism divides into two or into many. That is just an example of mitosis as well. That means in higher organisms, when we consider division process of cell division itself is reproduction in lower organisms. Okay, there are lower plant cells, there are lower animal cells which just divide, okay, and that is the reproduction. So what I am trying to say is that asexual reproduction happens because of mitosis, and asexual reproduction is one type of reproduction, or you can say just the cell divides, correct, nucleoplasmic and cytoplasmic distribution will happen, and that itself is reproduction in some lower organisms. So mitosis plays important role. So first we will mention what we are talking about. Significance of what? It is significance of mitosis, not meiosis. We have not yet started meiosis. Okay. So asexual reproduction. So for asexual reproduction also mitosis plays very important role. Then next, any other thing? Can you remember anything else? Plants growth and development. Plant growth and development. When we talk about plant growth and development, you might have heard about this term very often. We talk about something called as meristems. Have you heard about this meristem? Many times we have discussed. In plants, the tip of the stem and the tip of the root will have a special tissue called meristematic tissues. We call them meristem. There are different types in meristems also. Apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristems. So these meristems, why they are important for plant is because these are the tissues or these are the cells which constantly divide throughout the life of the plant. And that is why the plant grows in height. So if you think this is a plant, okay, let us consider this is a plant, okay. It has a root system. Okay, it has a root system. So the apical part is called apical meristem. So the tip of the roots will have meristem. In the same way, the tip of the shoot also will have meristem. The tip of the shoot also will have meristem. Let us consider this is the tip. So this tip will also have meristem. And this is called apical meristem. So because these tips are constantly dividing, continuously they are in division process. Which division is going on there? It is again mitosis. And because of that mitosis division, the roots also will elongate, the shoot also will elongate. That is why the plant attains maximum height. And the other branches also will grow. The branch and it widens because of another meristem which is present inside the stem. We have different types, I told you, intercalary and lateral. We will be discussing in detail about these things in the other chapters. So here you just try to remember that in the process of plant growth and development also the mitosis division plays very, very important role. Clear? So for plant growth and development also mitosis is important. You might have heard about the secondary growth of the plants. Dicotyledonous plants, they grow in height as well as they grow in their girth. The girth of the plant also increases. Because of what? Because of mitosis. Where mitosis will happen that time? For the secondary growth, the lateral meristems and the intercalary meristem will help. How? By undergoing the division, and that division is again mitosis. So these are some of the important things or important points of mitosis. Why mitosis plays very important role. Please take down. Okay, so we have understood significance. Do you think this completes mitosis? Still some things are there which we will discuss about that. Significance is important. Please note down this carefully. Okay, in exam they will ask you what is the importance of mitosis and they will give you options. So you should know what is the significance. Now coming to some of the concepts which I still need to explain, and that is exceptions. Okay, we will see what is this exceptions now. What are exceptions? What exceptions? We will see what are the exceptions of mitosis. See, till now whatever we studied regarding mitosis, we have understood the thing that usually mitosis takes place in diploid cells. What we have understood that it takes place in diploid cell. That means if a cell is diploid 2n, it divides by mitosis and produces two cells, which is again 2n and 2n. It undergoes mitosis and it produces two daughter cells. This is parent cell. These are daughter cells, and this is how mitosis operates. Okay, this is how we have thought till now. Now there is exception for this. That means what I am trying to say is that it's not mandatory that always mitosis will happen in diploid cells. There are some organisms in which mitosis happens in haploid cells as well. That means this also will happen in mitosis along with this, that if a cell is haploid, then also it can undergo mitosis to produce two daughter cells again which are haploid. That means, for example, if it is 6, haploid number is 6, here also it is 6, here also it is 6. Okay, what I am trying to say is that any organism if you see, okay, now there are organisms which have difference in haploid and diploid cells. We human beings, we have diploid cells all over our body, but the gametes which are produced from our body, if it is a female, it is egg, if it is male, it is sperm. And the sperm and the egg will not have diploid. Those are haploid cells because they have half the number of chromosomes. In human, diploid chromosome number is 46. Haploid is 23. So 23 is found in sperm. 23 is found in egg. But all over the cells of our body, we will have 46, which is a diploid number. What I am trying to say here is that always till now we think that mitosis operates for diploid cell, always for diploid cell, but that is not the case. The exception is that it also operates for haploid cells. So then I think you are confused. Let us go, I'll just explain you some examples so that you can understand it easily. Okay. Now let us consider, there are two exceptions. First I will write it because those exceptions are important. In exam they'll ask you mitosis operates for diploid cells except, and the 4 options. So you should know. You should know it is lower plants and we have honeybees. Lower plants and honeybees. So in lower plants and in honeybees, what happens is mitosis occurs for haploid cells as well. Okay, now I think the time for explanation. So first let us understand this lower plants. So what happens in this lower plants? What happens in this lower plants? See, lower plants usually, okay, the body, whatever sexual reproduction will generate diploid cell. But you might have heard about the term in lower plants that sporophytic or sporophytic generation and gametophytic generation. Or you might have heard about sporophyte and gametophyte. See, in detail we will be talking about these things when we deal with those chapters, particular chapters. Easily you'll understand that time. Now you might feel it is quite confusing, but just you need to remember one thing, that you might have heard about sporophyte and gametophyte. See, the gametophyte is a part of a plant which actually produces the gametes in lower plants. Okay, the sporophyte is the normal vegetative body, you can say. So you might have heard about these two terms. Here in gametophyte, in plants, it is haploid. So the gametophyte part of the plant, okay, it is haploid and it undergoes this division called mitosis, and it will form this gametophyte from the sporophyte. The plant first grows and forms sporophyte. The plant body is called sporophyte. Later on, okay, it will undergo the division and it undergo meiosis, and it will form N. From 2N it will form N. And this N will undergo mitosis, and then it will form a plant body, and that is called gametophyte. Okay, so sporophyte will be what? Sporophyte is 2N. Usually the plant starts its life in the form of sporophyte initially. Later on, what will happen? When it comes to maturity, when it needs to produce gametes, that time suddenly meiosis will not take place and gametes are not produced suddenly. Instead, the sporophyte will give rise to this gametophyte. And how this gametophyte is produced? It is produced by mitosis. And mitosis, okay fine, it is produced by mitosis. But what is the number of chromosome here? It is half the number of chromosome whatever the sporophyte have. For example, if sporophyte has 2N is 10, then the gametophyte will have what? 5. So it undergoes mitosis to produce many daughter cells. Like this. It undergoes mitosis and it forms a structure called gametophyte. Now where you will study this in detail, that is the thing, right? Even if you have not understood this, don't worry. Still, just what you need to remember here is that you need to remember exception for mitosis. Mitosis can undergo, haploid cells also can undergo mitosis in case of lower plants. Clear? One more is honeybee. These two, just if you remember, that's enough. In detail, we'll be talking about this lower plants in the earlier chapters of PUC first year. And then honeybees, about this also we are going to talk in detail in PUC second year chapters. Okay, just you need to remember these things. Sporophyte and gametophyte, you will be in lower plants like bryophytes, Mercantia and all. You will be able to see these examples. Anyways, so we will not go in detail with this because you should not get confused with mitosis again. So let us stop here and we will see honeybees. Little bit explanation I'll give about honeybees also. In honeybees, the male honeybees, remember, male honeybees are haploid and the female honeybees are diploid. Means this female honeybees will have 32 chromosomes and the male honeybees will have 16 chromosomes. So this is 2N and this is En. Whenever you find 32 chromosomes in a cell of the honeybee, then that honeybee is what? That honeybee is female. And males always, the males will have only 16. That means they are haploid. And these are diploid. So in second year chapters, when we discuss about sex determination, there we will discuss about sex determination in honeybees also. It's very, very important concept there. So there you will understand it in detail. What you can understand here is that the female, then you will be confused like how this female is found and how this males are found. See, male, this female, it will undergo division, and that is meiosis. It undergo meiosis division, and it will form what? If it is meiosis, it will form 2 cells. And what will the number of chromosome if it is meiosis? Half the number of chromosome, 16 and 16, correct? So this 16, it can be male, and the other 16, the 16, whatever the number of chromosomes you will find here, some cells, they divide. Some cells, they undergo parthenogenesis. You know what is parthenogenesis? Female gametes. These are gametes only now. Female gametes which develop without fertilization. Those are, we call it as parthenogenesis, right? So, likewise, because of parthenogenesis, you will find this male honeybees which have 16. Okay, some can become females. Females are always produced. This number 32. How this 32 can be produced here? Males, okay, and some females. They need to combine. If it is a female, this one if you consider anything. If this is male and this is female. These are gametes, okay? These are gametes. Don't get confused. These are gametes. Gametes. So these gametes, female gamete. So these gametes, when they combine with this male, okay, then they will form 32, and this 32 becomes again what? Female. Okay. Now, so this, what I am trying to say here is that even though the males are 16, they are haploid. So they also will, the male gametes will divide. They undergo mitosis, and they form many, many male bees. Okay. So here also you can understand that instead of diploid cell, what you can see here, this is haploid cell. So mitosis operates for haploid cells also. Which are the examples? One is lower plants and the other example is honeybees. Just you need to remember these two as an exception for mitosis. Okay, so what is that exception? Once again I will tell you what is that exception. The exception is I'll write it here. Mitosis takes place for haploid cells in. These are the examples. Clear? So this is the exception. Just need to remember, because in exam they will give you like mitosis takes place in 4 options. Okay, they will also give this male honeybee with this number N. Then you will be confused. Mitosis usually will take place for 2N, and if it is N, you will think it is not. But the answer is yes, it will take place in haploid cells. Only 2 examples, some lower plants and some honeybees. So this much only. So this completes the concept of mitosis clearly. So the next concept what we will see is meiosis. Okay, please take down this much.